Hey, I think we're live. Yep, we're live. So yeah, as usual, I gotta get Canadian Glenn into the show because Spaces sucks that way. You can't prepare a show and get everybody in ahead of time, and it takes a few minutes to do that. So bear with me. Um, Damn, it's hot today in LA. I hope everybody that's going to listen to this or listening to it um, gets some cold water and goes out there and gives it to people who need it. I'm still trying to get Glenn in here. There we go. I think I just invited him. So yeah, we're waiting for him. Like I said, yeah, just that's the simplest way to help people in this heat. Get them water, cold water if you can. It doesn't cost that much if you can afford it. I know everybody can't. Times are hard, but if you can, definitely, get it, chill it, take it out, hand it out to people that look like they're hot, that are forced to live on the streets because this heat could kill people. This heat in the past has killed people. And we need to do whatever we can to help people. I think we're still waiting for Glenn to get in here. So yeah, take a dab. Oh, I think I see Glenn just popped up. Glenn, are you in here? Yeah, maybe not. So yeah, I'm trying to tweet this out, but for some reason it only wants to tweet it to Glenn. Let me see. Share the show. Copy link. It says Glenn is in his co-host, but I don't see him. Um, Yet. So yeah, I'm gonna take another dab. Y'all should hit a bowl, take a dab, puff a blunt, hit a joint, do whatever y'all do. We're gonna get started as soon as I get Glenn up in here. I'm hitting the honey badger, and I'm currently smoking some diamonds called American Pie. I don't like the name, but the shit's fire. Damn, I see Glenn. It says co-host. Glenn, are you in here yet? We might be happy. Damn, that shit's fire. Sorry, y'all. We might be having some technical difficulties. Let me see if I can re-invite him, or even just add him as a speaker. Maybe I have to do that first. I don't know. Glenn, are you here? I see you. I just don't see anything moving by your name. Are you muted? Well, while we're waiting for Glenn, let me tell you what we're going to be talking about today. Obviously, we're going to be talking about the Supreme Court decision and the protests that happened afterwards and the police response to those protests. There's new information about the murder of LAPD pig officer Houston Tipping, who I made a troll hashtag that says "Justice for Houston Tipping." Bring his murderers to justice. We're going to talk about the Democrats as well as the Republicans, how they're gonna use this the Supreme Court rulings to their advantage. We're going to talk about other Supreme Court rulings that people aren't really talking about a lot. They're going at it. Um, what else are we going to talk about? Oh, and we're going to talk about. Oh, Glenn, hey.
We're going to talk about how much Twitter Spaces sucks ass.
I know I saw you there. I just didn't see the your little waveform pop up when you talk.
That's because it wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
But
Since you know what,
whatever.
since we have billions of people listening, I'm sure Twitter people are listening. Y'all need to do better. You need to make it so we can set a show up before the show. We don't have to do it live on air like this, so people sit here and wait, twiddling their thumbs, like what are these motherfuckers doing? And we also need to be able to archive our shows. Like download them. After 30 days, the shows disappear. I'm a week behind. So if you're watching our YouTube, you'll get last week's show today. I need to do better, but I just don't have the time. Like Mondays, I usually just get back just in time for this show. Tuesdays, my work schedule is insane. Early, early, early in the morning before anybody else is up. Um, so it's just hard for me to just jump on and record this show because you can't download it. I have to actually literally throw it into Pro Tools and turn on all my gear and then wait an hour and a half and let it roll live, and then edit it in Premiere, which would be so nice if I just had a file to throw in there. It would save me an hour and a half. Um, yeah, I don't know if people want to leave comments on these YouTube shows about what you do and don't like about them. I know we get a lot of thumbs down on these shows more than we do on anything else. We get a lot of thumbs up too. I mean, we don't get a lot of viewers, but out of the viewers we have, we get about 60 to 70% thumbs up and then 30% thumbs down. If they're just racist trolls and don't like what we're saying, that's fine. But if it's something we could change or do different that make the show flow better for the people, let us know. Write it in the comments. We'll try to do what we can. But we're not gonna change our views, or I'm not gonna get less militant for y'all motherfuckers. I'm not gonna start loving cops. It's gonna be the same content. It's just if you have a problem with the format, let us know. We'll try to fix it. If you're just a dumbass troll, we're not doing shit for y'all. Yeah, I got just terrible ass racist in these comments sometimes. But like I said last week, Glenn, it's much better. I got people actually fighting with me against them in these comments now. Like we're building an actual YouTube community, and that's nice. It's nice to see other people than me attacking the racist in the comments and the cop lovers and the government bootlickers. I'm down in
Well,
caffeine. Go ahead.
well, if this goddamn app actually worked like it should, that would cause or that would solve most of the issues right off the bat. I mean,
That's true. And
to 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 almost have to restart your fucking phone so it'll work is not performance. Twitter, but I just said it. It's Twitter. What do you expect?
yeah, I learned a couple weeks ago. Oh shit. Sorry, I got me at the wrong time. Damn whack. I learned a couple weeks ago you gotta reset. I gotta restart my phone before every show, or else it's gonna be glitchy. I don't know why that is.
Because the code to do a Twitter space is ridiculously full of fluff and bullshit. And there's obviously some problem with the amount of bandwidth the app uses to every single user. And, I don't think it's from the user's end, it's Twitter's end. And if they can't clean up their code and get their fucking app to run smoother, then, it's just going to be the same bullshit that's going on with Clubhouse and Spotify rooms and everything else. So, it's up to
Honestly,
them.
I'm starting to think now people are gonna be like, just stop bitching about the Twitter app. We do that for 5 or 10 minutes a week. Oh man, yeah, they could do better. A lot better. But
You
man, we need to
know,
move on. Oh, go ahead.
Well, the thing is, I mean, like you said, so many times a restart is the only way to fix it. Well, then anybody who says, well, you're using an old device, well, if it was an old device, then restarting would not fix it. But it does. So it's not the device, it's the fucking app.
Yeah, my device isn't that old at all. Um, but yeah, we need to move on. Fuck Twitter's app. They need to fix it. Um, so yeah, as most people know, whew, honey badger. That's intense. The Supreme Court officially overturned Roe versus Wade, and the people took to the streets to protest peacefully. And they were brutally attacked by the police all across the country, even here in LA. Got a lot of press because they attacked some actress from some show, a white lady. They stomped her out. So I guess that's the big deal. But they stomped out a lot of people. It shouldn't just be the famous person getting all the coverage. The police were brutal, and in LA they were using illegal techniques that they're not supposed to be using.
So just another day.
Yeah, but yeah, they come out brutal. I mean, there's no violence until the police come.
Yep.
And what are people supposed to do? Not fight back against the police that are brutalizing everybody? They do it intentionally because they know they're going to get arrested because people are going to fight them back. But I don't do peaceful protesting anymore, man. I go over there, everybody mad at me all the time. It's like you got all, and that's the problem too with the people that's out there stuck getting brutalized by the police. Everyone else leaves those people. Oh no, we're not here for this. We were here to sing songs, hold signs, and encourage people to vote. This is too real. Let's go home.
Yeah, that's about it right there. It's too real. No shit.
I mean, for real, that's how I feel sometimes when I'm out there. There's been times we was left with just a few of us surrounded by cops, a couple times. That's no fun, man. You think you got all these people behind you and they all pumped out and left. It's frustrating. Like lately, I've been seeing a lot of activists saying, "Oh, if you just separate off into different areas of the city, it'd be harder for the police." I've been screaming that for God knows how long, for as long as this show's been up and longer than that.
Yeah, just to comment on that, I know who you're talking about. I've seen it too, and I have the exact same reaction. It's like, no, really? Like, come on, man. Like, that's been obvious forever.
But nobody will do it. That's the problem.
Well,
I'm honestly during the good thing about the George Floyd protest was the stuff everybody was complaining about was the stuff that made it work. And if it would have kept moving, it could have kept working. Because you
yes.
got these big crowds in one area and the police are focused on that. Then you got all these little groups splashing out. I know we did that a lot.
Yep.
We would break off and be in a whole nother area of the city doing what we doing. Um, and it worked out great. There was a little group of us. We only really encountered two or three cops the whole time. You know why? Because they was over there where the masses were.
Because
And we was
that's
out
where
doing
they're,
our thing.
yeah, and that's where they're told to be. And I mean, this isn't rocket science for Christ's sake, you know?
I mean, the
I
thing
mean,
is, if there's a crowd over here on Highland and Hollywood, you could be burning stuff in another part of the city. You know, Santa Monica, West LA, Mid City, anywhere. Just go start hitting corporate stuff up. Get what you want and torch it. I mean, right now, gas stations should be burning too. Honestly, they shouldn't. The police don't have the power or the funding. If everybody get out there in power and just do what they doing. But you got this one big ass group of people that's like voting. We're gonna vote them out of here. We're gonna fight them at the ballot. How do you do that? It hasn't worked in the history of this country. All of a sudden, it's gonna work now. No, you gotta get out there and wreak havoc and shut down freeway. Don't walk across the free. See, that's the thing, man. The last time I was out there, they were gonna take over the freeway. I was like, how are we gonna stay on the freeway? Or y'all just gonna walk down and get off when the police do something? Oh, we're not gonna stay here because I mean, if you're gonna set up tents and park cars, You know what I mean? And set up tires you could light on fire and get it ready and be like, we got 1,000 cats up here, 2,000 cats living on the 11010 overpass. And then we got the 405 and 10 overpass. We got the 510, 110. We got the 710. You know what I mean? We got all these freeways shut down now. We got people, thousands of people just camping out on everyone. Nobody's moving Monday morning. They can't move. Only people getting through this is fire trucks and ambulances. Nobody else getting through. The police can't do anything. There's nothing they can do, man. There's people spread out all over. You shutting down every major street, just party. Just
Yeah,
enjoy life out there. Shut it
but
down.
the
Make
only
your
place,
demands.
the only place that this is done this way and it ever has any effect is in the southern hemisphere. Nowhere in Europe can figure this out. Nowhere in North America can figure this out because they're too programmed. Because what you're
Dude.
describing,
Okay, go ahead.
no, but what you're describing is possible. It's not that hard. But the part about it that is impossible for Europeans and North Americans to, to deal with is the actual cooperation. The actual is this is what we're fighting for. Does everybody agree? This is why we're here. This is impossible to do in Europe or North America because nobody's willing to compromise. Even people that are supposedly on the same team. This is like having a hockey team. They all wear the same jerseys, but forward line number 1 will not play with defensive pair number 2. Line number 2 just wants to play by themselves, and they think everybody else on the team should listen to them. See, this is the problem. And it's obvious with the amount of money that American cities are spending on police when they come out themselves and say if there were 10 people at 10 different intersections, we're fucked. And the people still can't get it together?
There's got to be
That's,
more than 10 people, but yeah, I see your point.
you
But the
know?
thing is, you got these like the last time everybody was out there. I was really thinking we was gonna be able to pull it off, but no. And this too, they're gonna forget about this in a couple of weeks. It's gonna blow over to be on some new thing and nobody be protesting like masses anymore. Mark my words. I've seen it too many times.
Yep.
They just run out of steam. I can't do it, man. If you ain't doing it right, don't do it. It's because you got okay, like liberal radio today, right? Some dude's talking about he calls into some show and he's like, these cats are out there assaulting us, attacking us. They're showing up at gay events to attack them. They're putting out people's addresses, endangering people's lives. We need to treat them the same way they're doing us. And then the host of the show's like, no, we'll never stoop to their level. We're not like them. And then on Twitter, some jackass Democrat was like, we we're not like them. We don't run up into the Capitol. We'll peacefully protest outside and we will win at the ballot. We'll beat them at the ballot. See, that's a mentality of a majority. I know in LA anyway, a majority of the people out there, that's their mentality. Those we can't be like them.
Okay,
You're not like
well,
them. You're not like them. You're fighting them, literally. How are you like them?
no, but from an outside the US perspective, that's not even for real anyway. Because they can talk about, oh, we have to wait till November, we have to wait till 2024, and we'll show them. They still don't fucking show up. See, this is the thing. I mean, I totally understand where you stand on this whole thing about voting for Team A or Team B. You're right. But if there was 80 or 90% turnout, they would not piss on the voter 24/7, because then everybody is watching and everybody is
But
giving an official opinion. See, this is the thing about politics. The lower the turnout, the better. Every team is happier the lower the turnout, the better. Because you have fewer idiots to convince to get what you want.
no, if you're already submit to convinced to get your vote, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, man. I mean, if you have all these voters and they're going out and voting for one of these two parties, you got the same thing. The Democrats are in power. The Democrats have been in power before. They never do anything for anybody. And we're going to talk about how they're going to benefit off this later and how I believe they wanted this to happen. We'll talk about that in a little while. But yeah, I don't see a viable person to vote for, Democrat or Republican. I really don't,
But that
because
is
you
that
have a
is
fascist or a lesser fascist. They're both right wing parties. They're both owned by corporations. They're both warmongers. They both hate civil rights.
and it's
One's a little
because
better than the other. So what?
that's what they have been shown
And
by
if
the
and if and if,
voters.
and if all the people vote, it's gonna be they're gonna be showing even more. They're gonna be even more validated with more votes.
But they wouldn't be able to do stuff like Biden did, where he says, "Oh yeah, $2,000. Oh yeah, relief gets in. Fuck you, you get nothing." Now, if there was 80 or 90% turnout instead of 40 to 45, they wouldn't be able to pull that shit off. Now, this is why both
You
teams
know,
don't
we've
have a
disagreed on
problem
this.
with. This is why both teams don't have a problem with lying, because even their most idiotic supporters can be lied to. They know it. There is no responsibility to anyone, and that's what the problem is. And apathy is approval. So, I mean, this is part of the idea, to just turn off so many people that if we've got our little group of zealots, they're going to be enough. And that's what politics has become. And then you look at places like what's going on in Ecuador, who have elected the first president ever, which the press is calling from the left. So he's not a fascist. And they're
Well,
doing it with 80, 85% turnout because, yeah, this is our chance. This is supposed to matter. Okay, fucking deliver. And it's not 40% of 40% that you have to lie to. It's an actual 3 out of 4 people in the country. That's where the weight is. And elections in the West are just a show. It's sad. There are
yeah,
people
I
on the
think
other side of the world that would willingly give up their life for a chance to vote. And here it's a perversion. It doesn't mean anything.
yeah, that's exactly my point. I'm gonna disagree with you on this one forever. I just think if you have more people voting, 80% people, you're gonna have the same situation just on a bigger scale. That's the way I see it in this country, anyway. I
Well,
just
I
don't
cannot.
see. I don't see how that's going to make any difference in this country. If you had 100%, it wouldn't make a difference. You just have part of them for one and part of them for the other, and
Well,
they both throw their side a bone, like how how the Republicans take somebody's rights away to give their people a bone so they could cheer for their religion, and the Democrats throw people a bone once in a while financially or whatever. Well, they used to, not anymore, or passing some bill that to just to shut people down for a minute. They'll do the bare minimum what they have to do, and they'll just do the bare minimum on a bigger scale. That's the way I feel about it.
well, statistically, I think that is a feasible argument to make, but socially or psychologically, it's not. because there's never enough said, especially in the US, about gerrymandering and about making sure certain people can't fucking vote. Because if everybody could vote at the same level of availability in the United States, it would already look quite different.
See, here's what I'm for. If you want a voting system like that, this is what I think. You know, we've said it before. Years and years we've been saying this. We've been arguing the same point, Glenn. But you need one vote for one person, no electoral college.
Oh, yeah.
And wait. You're voting on things, not people and parties.
Well,
People and
that's
parties just work. You like, do you want abortion ban? No. Everyone votes. You know what I mean? Or not? Do you want everyone votes? Do you want gay marriage or not? Everybody goes and votes. And one vote, one person, no matter where you live. Like I said, no electoral college, no none of that garbage. Everyone gets a vote, and you vote on things. And the people, you can vote on the people, but all the people are there to do is to be like administrators or whatever, just to make sure the things that you vote for happen. And if they don't, immediately you can vote again and get somebody else that will do it. We're
that's
not
like
paying you,
Switzerland.
whatever. Yeah, it is actually in some ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, you vote for every little thing. Do you want police brutalizing houseless people? No. Do you want houseless people to be able to have houses? Yes. Do you want to give the empty houses that are all over the country to houseless people? Yes. Let's start working on that.
Okay.
You know,
But
not in 25 years from now we'll have 2,000 houses. No. Now we're gonna work on it right now. We pay taxes. Do you want to give the majority of your federal tax to the military and the majority of your state tax to the police? No, we want to spend it on more services. Every little thing needs to be voted on. That's a real democracy. This is just voting for people who can do whatever the hell they want after you elect them. That just doesn't seem make any sense to me whatsoever. I don't even know why people go for this in my mind.
because that's the society that you have. I mean, the closest to what you're saying, as far as I'm aware of, is Switzerland. That is the way they do things there for quite a bit of stuff. Switzerland has just made a public announcement that they're going to be buying a new batch of fighter airplanes. And they couldn't do it until the people voted on it and approved it. Now, the thing about if you're not doing what you're instructed to do, you're out. And for people to be able to make an informed decision on big items, they have to know what the fuck is going on. And the American society is simply not set up for that. And it would take at least one generation for the average American to be as politically aware as the average Swiss citizen. And in Switzerland, they only have 4 official languages, and they still all manage to communicate and get shit done. So, I
Yeah, I mean
mean,
it's going to take a lot of reprogramming people to think differently, you know, to think for themselves and to think critically. But
they have
I
to be
mean,
taught
I'm an
that.
idiot, Glenn. I'm not the smartest person in any room, but I have enough common sense to say this ain't working, and it makes sense that it would work a better way if we did it like this. Like nobody should be appointed to a position and have a job for life. That's insane. That's insane.
That's,
Congress shouldn't be able to get away with criminal acts.
well, I mean, the other issue is just like with when Trump was in and getting him removed, it was quite possible to get him removed. Nobody wanted to do it.
Nope.
When you have such crooked, obscenely criminal, don't give a fuck people having this power, you're not going to solve it by using the playbook. You're going to solve it
Yeah.
otherwise.
Biden should have been removed before he was ever vice president. He was a racist, sexist, evil warmonger, and he stayed in power almost 50 years now. Now he's president of the United States, man.
Despite
Think of,
there being mechanisms within the Constitution to clean these people out, nobody uses them. So,
yeah,
that's the thing. This is the thing that blows me away from being outside the US. There's all these idiots who yell and scream about what a great document the Constitution is because they're using it as a weapon to blind people to what's really going on. But
yeah.
then if you actually do read the US Constitution, the rules in there to police their own government are some of the strongest that have ever been in effect anywhere. But somebody has to use them, and nobody does.
You know what I'm realizing, Glenn? Looking at the list of topics, like every topic except the Houston tipping and the final topic are connected to what we're talking about now. Maybe we should just drop the Houston tipping down and just hit these because we're like talking about them. You know what I mean?
Don't matter.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But yeah, no, I just there's so many better ways to run a system than the way they have it here.
Yeah, and
It's
I mean, there's somebody on Twitter that I've been tweeting with for over a decade who's in Boston. And, they said they made a little comment about these decisions and now how the fundraising emails are flying into everybody. And I just said, this is Citizens United in full bloom. And he said, yeah, definitely, and I mean, we brought that up the last couple shows too. This is
yeah.
exactly what everybody said was going to be like 10 years after Citizens United. Well, here you are. It doesn't matter what tragedy, what miscarriage of justice, what theft of rights. The first reaction of both major political parties is fundraise.
There's a picture of everybody protesting, and then AOC with a big smile on her face and like this cheerful pose. And then somebody said, "What is she thinking?" or something. And I said, "She's thinking of all the no." They said, "Why is she smiling?" I said, "Because she's thinking of all the donations she's gonna get exploiting this issue for donations." And that's real though. It's funny because it's true. So yeah, I mean, as soon as the Democrats they want all this to happen. They want all this to happen, man. They took away our Fourth Amendment right a couple of weeks ago. Nobody's even marching for that. We said that last week. Like, where is everybody?
Yep.
The federal agents can literally come in your house without a warrant now. They took away abortion rights. They got a whole list. Everything that's not going to affect Clarence Thomas is on this list. And then just today they took away the separation of church and state. You can now pray in school. So yeah, pray to any god but theirs. Make them up. Pray to magic unicorns. I mean,
Okay.
that's what teachers need to start doing since it's legal. Just outrageous with it. Like we're all gonna pray to Earl of Magic Unicorn.
But
Hello?
see,
Oh
but
yeah.
see, I don't even know why people are saying that because just skip that step and go to what it actually means. You will pray Christian or you won't be here. That's what this ruling
Oh
really says.
no,
Oh
prayer is
yeah.
prayer, man. You have to.
No.
You can't.
That's not the way it's
That's
going to work. That's
but that's
not
what
the way it's going to work.
this has been fought like that before, dude. They had to look. There was I don't know where it was somewhere I think in the Midwest where they decided they were gonna have in these public city council meetings they were gonna open with a prayer, and these dudes went in and prayed to Satan every single time. You know what
That's not
happened?
a school.
They stopped having. Oh yeah, I guess, but they stopped having a prayer in between the before. Oh, some Muslims did one too. Yeah, they did. They wasn't having none of that. They was like, this isn't what we meant by prayer. So they stopped having prayer before the meetings.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's just idiots paying for their stupid decision. But this is schools, and this is
Yeah,
not going to be the same.
they want to indoctrinate those kids early. That's yeah. So they're not going to give up that easy, probably.
And if you're not with us, you're against us. And there is no better place to condition people on us and them than in fucking school.
Yeah, they said they're going to go after gay marriage next. They're going to go. One of the Republicans said, "What about Brown versus the Board of Education?"
Yep.
And he wasn't being sarcastic. Like, what's next, Brown versus Board? No, they were serious about that.
Well, see, this is the issue, though, because Roe Wade and all these other decisions are based on the established right of privacy of the individual from the state. They're all based on that. And I don't know how much more fucking Bill of Rights you can get than the right of privacy of the individual from the state. But now, apparently, no, you don't have that.
Mm-mm.
So, I mean, it just blows my mind for all this propaganda I've seen my whole life about home of the free and land of the brave and all this shit. You don't have privacy anymore. What are you people doing?
We haven't had in a long time. They're just putting the rubber stamp, officializing it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, though. There's no more question.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like Germany in 1934. It's too late. We're here. And nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Just like Germany, nothing's happening. So, I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. I mean, I know the tactics, I know the strategy. It's, just keep beating them over the head. And apathy is a win for fascism, as always. And the more apathetic and disconnected the big numbers get, the fewer nut jobs you need to keep advancing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
inversely proportional. The more people that don't give a flying fuck, the fewer crazy people it takes to go a long way. But, travel. COVID's over. Spend more money you don't have. Forget about the reality.
Man, it's really bad right now. Like, imagine people who have something now that something's worth a lot less, and then people who had barely anything or nothing, that barely anything or nothing is worth a lot less.
Yep.
So the struggle's gonna get realer and realer. It's not They're not gonna save us with this 18 cents a gallon refund that they may give us. That's
Yeah.
not anything when gas is over $7 a gallon or heading that way.
See, you guys
And all
need
we
to look. You need to look north of the border. Most Canadian provinces have had this "we're not collecting gas tax" thing for months, and gas went up again. So all that means is all that tax money is not being collected to keep your roads paved, to keep your street lights on. Government's not collecting any of that shit, but they're still taking it and putting it in their pockets and buying back their own stock. That's what it's really about. Just because the government says we're not collecting a tax, there's absolutely nothing that says you have to lower your prices to make up the difference. Where's that in the law? It won't be there. It's just we won't collect the taxes. So, we hope you'll, we'll
Yeah,
let you,
Biden.
yeah, we'll let you keep 15 cents a gallon. So maybe lower the price by 3 or 4 cents.
At the end of one of his little speeches, or a little part of his speech, Biden decided he was going to whisper to oil companies to not price gouge. He was like, "Don't gouge prices, oil companies." Some crap. I'm like, what is this?
He's
Like,
trying to
that's a
he's trying to be funny.
he's a
He's trying to
joke.
be funny. Well, I mean, this is the other thing too. The Republicans sit here and bitch and complain about how the Democrats are making everybody pay more. Well, every Republican in the House voted against limiting price gouging. So, yeah, it's sure a good thing you guys are concerned about actually helping.
Yeah, I think the Democrats, like we talked about this last week, so I don't want to go into it, but I believe the only reason the Democrats put that bill up is because they knew it wouldn't pass. And it's like some virtuous, like, look what we did and they didn't want it. That was just a game. They knew it wasn't going to pass. They didn't want it to pass. Neither did the Republicans. So they just said, look, we fought for you.
Yes. And then that's not enough. Now the Republicans, who are all recorded voting no, are still bitching that prices are high. So, I mean, what the Democrats did on this playing field
Well,
only makes sense.
they
It's the
will claim
fucking
the Democrats.
Republicans. What?
They'll go to their base and be like, the Democrats put stuff in the bill that we couldn't stand for because we're here for you. We're here to fight for you. That's how they do it, man. They both parties. There's no difference. There's really no
Man,
fundamental difference.
people are stupid.
Yeah, it's like I watch these people, man, on the Democrats and the Republicans are a bunch of fools. Like, oh, I mean, that person will say something blatantly, and they'll just like look at this woman that said, the same one who said Hitler was right about getting to the kids. You know, if you can indoctrinate the kids, you can run everything. She recently was with Trump at a Trump rally saying, "Thank you, President Trump, for saving white lives." Talking about the abortion ban. And then they're like, oh, she misspoke. She stuttered. Yeah, no, she didn't. She said white lie. I mean, this is the Hitler was right lady. You think she's not going to just say white lies?
Yeah.
She publicly said Hitler had a good point. These people are nuts, man. And the Democrats use that to fundraise and say, we're going to fight this. You know, I'll be honest with you. If you want the Democrats to fight, from what I've seen in my experience on this planet in this stupid ass country, if you want the Democrats to fight for your rights, vote for Republicans. No, for real, because they want to get elected. They want to fundraise off it. So when Trump does bad stuff, that's the only reason we got a stimulus, because Trump wanted to get reelected. He's trying to pay the voters off. And the Democrats were going crazy. Like, how dare you not take care of the people? How dare you? Kamala Harris was like 2,000 a month. What's wrong with this? Kamala Harris was like, get in the streets. I support all this. Now look at them. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, if you want the Democrats to fight, go vote for fill it all with Republicans. Half and half. Get 50-50. The Democrats will fight them furiously to try to gain power. But once the Democrats are in power, they don't give a damn anymore. Once the Republicans are in power, they don't give a damn anymore. It's just how fast which party is going to head us toward ultimate fascism. Like which party is going to hit the end game first.
It's
The
just
Republicans
so
will.
it's just so fucking ass backwards, you know? Like, I mean, I'm listening to you, and again, I'm thinking about Switzerland.
It sounds funny,
And,
Glenn, but am I really wrong?
oh, no, you're not. But I mean, I'm thinking about Switzerland. And the difference is in the US, all these team players tell you what's wrong, tell you what they're going to fix. In Switzerland, the people tell them what they want fixed. And then they'll say yes that way or no, not that way. You know, I mean, there's a fundamental difference the way shit is done. And yeah, that's the problem exactly. There's just such detachment by everyday people in most of the EU and in North America. There's just so few people that understand how government works and how it's devolved and how it's been taken advantage of. You know, I mean, this is like somebody playing a rigged slot machine. They don't understand that it's rigged, so they just keep playing. That's, meanwhile, the Swiss, they're all fucking counters. They're
Yeah,
trying to rip off the casino. They're not getting burnt. They're not letting the casino burn them. So I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just people end up where they let themselves get taken. And this is a long, long path out of this mess.
yeah. It's gonna get way worse before it won't get better. It's just gonna get way worse. Let's be honest.
That's a logical conclusion.
Because it never really got better. It got better than it was. Now it's going back to what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, and hopefully not all the way back. That's where some people want to take it, evidently. But I mean, here's the thing. Well, the Democrats are using this and the Republicans are so terrible. You got to say, we'll save you. Just vote for us again and maybe we'll get it right this time. You got the Republicans supporting it on, and they're getting their violent fan base out there attacking groups that they don't like
Yep.
trans people, gay people. They're showing up at events. They're just intimidating. I mean, you got a bunch of armed Nazis walking through a gay pride parade, screaming at people that they're groomers, and this gets dangerous, man.
Well,
It
this
gets
is
really,
just
really
it.
dangerous.
This is just it. Anywhere else in the world where you see this shit happening, it's immediately, it's radical fundamentalism, it's fascism. This has got to be stopped. What the fuck's going on? But it happens in the United States, and it's almost like the weather. They give you statistics and both sides the shit out of it, and move on.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it's getting to the point where you got these people just want to. I don't know. It's like they're scared or something. It's just like they want to exterminate groups of people because they're different than they. I mean, it's always been like that, but now we got these politicians out here cheering them on, and they got these militias in the streets with some big weapon. I mean, I seen one video of the Proud Boys with a SWAT team truck with their logos all on it, like the police and everything.
It's
These cats are getting big funding from somewhere.
very SA of them.
Yeah,
Well,
I
really,
mean that.
that is 21st century Sturmabteilung right there.
Yeah, I mean they've had other cars and stuff with like warrior style stuff before. It's just when I say warriors, like the movie, those big buses they had with the
Yep.
all tricked out to battle bus or whatever. Yeah, I mean they're getting funding from somewhere, but you got all these other people talking about no, we don't want to be like them. We don't want to fight their violence with violence. I mean, look at it like this. I think I tweeted this today or yesterday. Basically, what I see when the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, they validated 50 years of terrorism. This shit works. If you harass enough people, terrorize enough people, murder enough doctors and nurses, blow up enough clinics, eventually you'll get your way and your God will be pleased.
Sounds
Because
like
in
the
small,
creation.
I'm just saying
Sounds
in a lot of circles, these people are looked at as heroes, even though a lot of them are in prison and stuff. Like they're looked at as like they did God's work.
sounds to me like the creation of Israel.
How is that?
Well, it's the
Oh,
same
I see
thing.
what you're saying.
Just
I see what you're saying.
keep terrorizing innocent people who don't
Yeah.
want conflict, and then the powers that be say, "Well, gee, what are you going to do? I don't know."
Yeah, I thought you were, you know what? Because I was talking about the religious aspect. I was thinking about the Bible version of Israel, not the modern, you know what I mean? The modern
Well,
occupation apartheid state.
I think it's pretty clear that anybody that knows me, as far as I'm concerned, Israel is a fascist, illegal state.
Yeah.
So, and
Oh,
You
did you
go,
hear about that? The contracts they're making people sign if they want to do business with certain states. They have to sign a I will not participate in a BDS or anything, and I will not speak ill of Israel. This is in the U.S., not over there.
yeah, I know Texas did that quite a while ago now. It's just spreading more, of course,
Yeah,
because, follow the money.
that's way out.
Well, whatever. It's just the next step. That's all. I mean, that's the other thing that unless people actually read a history book, they're not going to understand. When this type of power gets the opportunity, it will always grow. It will never stop. It will never take a time out. It'll never pause. More is more
It
until
has to be
it's,
eradicated.
yeah. I mean, these people will not stop until they have complete control. And then they'll start fighting each other eventually, but it's kind of late for everybody else by that point.
Did you see a group of Democrats during one of the demonstrations walk out on the steps of one of the city halls, sing "God Bless America"? It might have been in L.A. or Washington D. I don't know where it was, but yeah, it was. Might have been Sacramento. I didn't care enough. I just saw how ridiculous it looked. They were all sitting out there singing "God Bless America." Would you want the same God to bless America that wants to take women's rights away? That's what I was thinking.
Well, I only have one sentence to say. That just proves it. Y'all fascists.
Yeah,
I mean,
these people
only
are a joke.
if your country is in such a fucking gutter that whatever is happening is completely against what your country is supposed to be. If that's the opportunity you use to fly your flag or sing your song, you're a fucking fascist. There's no other,
Yeah,
there's no other reason.
yeah. I expect this Supreme Court to keep ruling on smaller issues too. Like, I'm already hearing stuff about you shouldn't be able to talk bad to police. They don't deserve that. Um, and how long before they say, "Oh, no, 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 you can't just film a police without their consent." You know, they've already tried to. You got to protest peacefully in the legal protest zone or get a permit. It's not a protest. That's a rally or a parade, right?
Well, this is just a complete abandonment of the reason for a federal justice system. This is basically this is letting the chapters have free reign. There's no longer a club-wide charter. That's what this is coming down to. And it's these 9 fuckers in a room who are making these decisions. And that's the other thing too. I mean, I think it's pretty clear in US statute and in the Constitution. If you fucking lie this blatantly to become a Supreme Court judge, you get impeached. What's the holdup?
They should have never got in there in the first place.
Yeah, I know. But
I
the
mean,
point
when you're
is,
saying something on record for a job and you're on video all over the internet saying the exact opposite, you just lied. Why are they even going to
yeah,
hire you? Get out of here. Next. It just blows my mind. And here's the thing. The people don't even get to vote on that. That's what I'm saying. You don't get to even vote on certain people that have your whole life decision. Like, you know damn well the majority of people in this country aren't as screwed up as those religious zealots. So if you took an actual vote, like, do you want these wackadoos on the court? The majority of people would say no.
again, this goes all the way back to Citizens United
Yep.
because that was in
Everything goes back to that.
that was in what 2010. In 2006 in Canada, Stephen Harper tried to do the same thing, and the
That was
courts
before 2010. Oh, go. I'm sorry.
and the courts here said get bent. So, I mean, this is the problem. It's because of the money and because of all the backroom bullshit, Citizens United, that the US Supreme Court has become so fucked. Because they tried to screw with it up here. When Harper was prime minister, he had a judge that he wanted, kind of a Gorsuch type situation. But he wasn't eligible. So the court themselves said, no, we're not letting this guy in because he's not eligible. And the court won against the government. And Harper did end up putting, I think, 4 out of 9 on our Supreme Court, but they've all ruled against him because they are actually taking their job for what it's supposed to be. Nobody's offering them millions of dollars under the table. Nobody's offering to pay off all their debts and their habits and make their problems disappear. So, I mean,
Yeah.
this is the thing. When there's no rules about what can be fixed for the right person to get in there, it changes the whole game. And Harper tried to make our court system pay to play, and he failed. He completely failed. So, I mean, it can be defeated if there's enough, I don't know, backbone to do it. But
Are
then this is
Canadian?
Canada and we're much smaller, so nobody offered $20 million to anybody up here.
Do they have lifetime nominees there too, or no?
Yes.
Oh wow, that sucks.
Well, it hasn't really wrecked us. I mean, it's very, very rare that somebody dies as a justice, though. They know when to leave. They leave. They get around 75. They pretty much all go.
Yeah, that's good at least. These people want to be on here till the end of time.
Well,
The
yeah.
power of it all. I mean, that's like the most powerful shit. You don't get taken out. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I mean, it's just such a farce to me. Like I said, watching outside the country. Like, I know enough about how the Constitution works, and there's documented video proof of Amy Coney Barrett saying that a career in law is only a means to an end of creating a kingdom of God.
Yep.
How the fuck is this person on the Supreme Court?
That was my point when I said when there's video that contradicts everything you're saying. I was
It's
thinking
just
about that.
absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, there are rules in your Constitution to prevent all of this, but nobody wants to use them. The Republican senators know it, and they put her in there in spite of it. And that should be the 14th Amendment. You motherfuckers get the boot too.
Yeah.
All the
I'm
rules are
really
there, but you got no refs.
see, I'm really scared about how all this stuff plays together, you know what I mean? How this Fourth Amendment thing can work with so many of these other decisions they're making.
Yep.
You know, you're making all of these things illegal and you're making it legal for federal agents to run up in any spot within 100, basically any place in the nation they could run up in without a warrant.
Well, like I said, man, you start striking down laws that are based on the privacy of the individual. That's it. There's no end now. If you don't have that, you got nothing. You're going to have a habeas
Yeah.
corpus? I mean, there's no limits now. There's just no
Yeah.
limits.
That rich dude from Green Day said he's going to leave the country now. Lucky him, huh? He said it like, let's all just leave. You know, like, how do people do that? Like, how do people just up and leave when they stuck in this hellhole and they don't have anything? Some people can't even afford the gas to get out of the country or the plane ticket or wherever, depending on where they're going.
Yep.
Bus, I don't know. It's just like, come on.
Well, he's speaking from his world to everybody else.
That just seemed a little tone deaf
That's putting it mild.
for a musician.
That's putting it mild. That's more than tone deaf. That's just
Yeah.
asking to get something stuck up your ass is what that is.
It's like the rapper, maybe it was Soldier Boy or somebody was talking about, I don't always have to wear $100,000 outfit. Sometimes I just chill around in $1,000 outfit. If that's all you got, that's cool. Floss it. Like, I was like, wow.
Thanks for cutting us that slack, bro.
$1,000 outfit. Like,
Whatever,
cats
man.
cats be at the swap meet getting 50, 40, $80 outfits, $1,000 outfit. Come on.
Whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, that's why you don't look like to the rich people for answers, really, unless they're gonna
So
put their money and unless they're gonna put their money into the problem.
before we get off this topic of the political gamesmanship over the destruction of the Bill of Rights, the one thing I have noticed is Alexandria Ocasio Cortez has had a lot to say the last few days. And as we've seen already in the past, she only does it when she's allowed to. So it makes sense to me that she is the one to broadcast this specific angle from Team D. But I'm wondering who's approving it this time.
Dude, it's a grift within a grift. This is a
Think
thing.
so?
I know. So what? Let me explain it to you. This is how the get down works. The Democrats are like, these Republicans are horrible. Only we can stop them. Vote for us and definitely donate money to us, and we'll fight them like we've never fought them before because we're on your side. And then you got her group up in there, the squad or whatever, and they're like, these Democrats aren't even fighting the Republicans hard enough. If you just donate to us and reelect us, we're going to put them in check. So they're doing the big thing on another small scale while still funding the Democrats too, because they're part of that party. You see what I'm saying? And Peachtree Dish, what's her name?
Yeah. Trailer grease. Yeah.
What's her name? No, I can't think. MTG.
Taylor Green.
Yeah. Okay. So look, she can't spell, dude. She had the reason she didn't get a presidential pardon is because she spelled it Parton, Parton, and she thought a petri dish was a peach tree dish.
Yeah,
What
I
an
know.
idiot! They hired this person in there, but no, she does it too. She does the same thing with the Republicans. She's like the AOC of that side. She's like, these Republicans are not standing up for your religious Christian values, and y'all need to fight for me so I could put them in line. But at the same time, she's recruiting for the Republicans. You know what I mean? And they're doing the same thing. These Democrats are making us a godless nation and stealing your children for satanic, whatever. And yeah, so it's the same grifts, both parties, and they got many grifts within the grifts. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's more demographically targeted grifting.
Yeah, there's no difference, man. They both do the same shit.
Yeah, okay.
And they both
Okay.
stand for the same thing ultimately, that
The,
almighty dollar in their pockets.
and the only difference, of course, at the end of the day is you have people like Lauren Booby and Marge Trailer Grease not making any sense whatsoever.
They are,
And,
though.
and no,
To
they're
their
not.
base, to their base. They don't care if they make sense to you or me. They care if they make sense to their base. And
Well,
their
they're just
base,
scaring people. They're not making any sense. They're just scaring people.
but their base is a bunch of uneducated, inbred weirdos. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So they're gonna dumb it down, or maybe they're already. I think one of them might already be that dumb, but they're gonna really step it down to hit their base. And yeah, fear. The Democrats keep you in fear. These people keep you in fear. That's their goal. We can save you from this. We're gonna talk about that in a minute.
But the only thing is, at least like when somebody like AOC is on this roll the last couple days, at least there's actual content. That's the only difference, I guess.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
for her
like,
base. That's for her
yeah,
base.
yeah.
And she's not going to take any actions with it other than what she's doing.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Where
The
does her
weeping
permission
outside of the
end? I mean, we
she
saw
doesn't
what
need
happened
permission
with.
for her own grift. She needs permission when she does anything, takes action. Her grift doesn't need permission. She can talk all the crap. It's like a wrestling thing, you know. They come out and talk crap about each other, then chill out,
Yeah, I know,
you
but
know.
this is it. I want to know where her limit is this time because we saw this when she showed up. She got to DC and was all piss and vinegar, and then all of a sudden, oh, I may not get any committee seats. I guess I'll shut up for a while.
Yeah, she's got to
So,
play both sides, but she's got to make it look like she's not doing that,
but
which
I
is
want to know
impossible.
where her limit is this time. That's what I want to
Um,
know.
I have no idea. Just look at the bottom of the when you want to know where any politician's limit is. Just look at the bottom of the barrel and go a little bit further.
This is what
They're
I'm
all scum.
saying. This is what I'm saying. I understand now. I buy your explanation of she's running her own side deal, but it still has to answer to the table. So I want to know where her limits are.
Well, when she
That's
gets
the only
reelected, she
thing.
bows down. That's how it works. She can do
Hmm.
anything she wants to get elected, but when she's elected, she bows down to her party, just like she's always done.
No, I don't think she can go too far out in front of the overall tactics. She's not allowed to do that.
I don't know, man.
She's
But here's the
still
thing. Let's.
she still can't get elected without a Democratic nomination. That's the bottom line in the United States. There is no such thing as an independent that wins
Oh yeah,
anywhere.
she doesn't want to be independent. She wants to get that corporate money,
Then she will answer when she's requested.
of course. But she doesn't have to answer the campaign. That's on her. As long as she gets elected, she has to do what they want. That's how it works.
There's still limits.
I don't know the limits or whatever the fascist party they're in put on them.
And that's what I want to know.
Well, ask the parties. How do I know? I've never seen a limit with any of these politicians. They break laws. Like the law is not even their limit. So here's the thing. This is kind of a nice segue into the other one. So I was watching something on YouTube. What the hell was it? I don't know, but it had these news clips from the 19, I think it was 1974 or five. Just local United States news clips. Oh my God, I was scared, man. It was stabbings and shootings and mass shooting, multiple people shot at this location, and just crazy stuff going on. Just murder and mayhem and robberies. And oh, you know what it was? It was talking about the media and how it changed to try to sensationalize crime and stuff over the years. And it kind of opened up with this thing from 1974 or five, who are showing just like these news clips, like a couple minutes of the news talking about this. And then one of them was like, tonight's news, multiple people shot in this city. This is definitely not for children. Put your children in bed and watch the news at 10 p.m. tonight when the kids are asleep. They were really like, they were showing bodies being hauled out. It was horrifying. It was like the Citizen app or News Now. My point in that is these politicians forever, since then and before, have been using crime to campaign on and to fund police and to do all these terrible things like, oh my God, and the media plays into that by sensationalizing it and just showing it all day and all night, you know? And I was saying, if these politicians wanted to stop crime, they would just stop crime. This leads me to believe they don't want to stop crime. They just want, just much like the Democrats with Roe versus Wade, they didn't want to stop it. They want to campaign and fundraise on it. They want bad things to happen. They want to use that. We'll keep you safe. We'll fund and the police are the same. They need crime. If there was no crime, what would they do? They couldn't even pretend to be the ones to stop it. So my point is, I think politicians need and want crime and use crime and they have no intention on ever lowering the crime rate. I mean, they'll say it's lowered, if they're elected and they want to go up. But then as soon as they need to get elected again, it's the crime rate, and their opponent will be saying the crime rate's so high after this guy. You see what I'm saying? Am I making sense? I don't even know. I'm kind of rambling.
Well, the biggest problem with this entire playbook is they both fucking lie. They don't even properly present real statistics. So, it kind of takes away the whole interest if the crime rate's up or down, because they don't tell you the truth anyway.
But that's not the point. Is whether it's up or down in reality or not, it's up or down how they need it and they use it, and they never want to say there's no crime.
No,
You see what I'm saying?
it's not in their best interest. I mean, it's becoming more and more obvious as time goes by that organized police exist to serve power. They don't uphold law. They don't protect citizenry. They protect capital, and they protect power. That's it. And to keep them growing and to keep them well armed until maybe something happens, they have to be entertained and they have to be portrayed as being necessary. And, I mean, for Christ's sake, you're in Southern California. The cops have been trying to bust dope deals with the CIA for 50 years down there, for Christ's sake. So, I mean, there's never going to be no crime. It just doesn't exist in a capitalist, quote unquote, society. It's not good for business.
The CIA was the one that allowed all the dope in. That's a whole nother show topic for another day. The cocaine import agency. But yeah, but I'm just saying, it's just really watching this from the 70s, and then now there's no difference. They sensationalize it exactly the same way.
Yep.
Like if I watched that in the 1970s, I'd be like, oh my God, crime has never been worse. There's people just dying all over. You watch it now, it's the same thing. Like, I'm talking about like the local media, how they just push it and push it and push it and push it and push it.
Well, I
And
mean,
add a little
not it.
propaganda piece or two. Like this cop went around and gave some kid $100 who was hungry. I don't know, just something like that. And it just happened to be caught on camera.
I mean, you don't even have to go back to Nixon, where, a lot of this shit started. But I mean, even going back to the 1990s, I remember the first time I listened to Body Count's first CD. And it was
Cop
like,
killer.
yep. And, like you said, for me, a white kid in Canada, listening to that, it just blew my mind.
Why?
This is how fucking bad it is down there. And there's like a 25-second track called Now Sports.
Yeah.
And it's an LA local newscast. This weekend, 17 youths killed by gang violence. Now Sports.
Now sport. Yeah.
And that was it. And it was like that until it had to change in the public discourse, right? Until it had to be retooled and used for a different purpose in a different direction, right?
Yep. Man.
Nobody really wanted it to end, and then you have when the Bloods and the Crips finally decided that, you know what? Fuck them. And then a couple years after that, you get Hollywood trying to make their version of it. Colors and all that fucking bullshit. So, I mean, it's an industry with a very high price tag, but there's a lot of money in it as well, apparently.
Yeah, gangbanging culture is kind of promoted and marketed too a lot. And I mean, from the smallest levels all the way up to corporate levels. Like going to any hood liquor store, you're gonna see rags and bandanas on the local hood colors. You know what I mean? It's not like them cats know they're trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
Go up to the music industry, they promote it. Movies, they promote it. It just, and then the styles change and then the same shit happens. My thing is, if you're gonna be a warrior for the people. Let's go after pigs and not more going at the cops, less going at the ops, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like if them cats would join the fight, we could do this a lot quicker. And I've said this forever too. It's nothing new.
Yep.
Just we got to find a way to get through some of these thick skulls. And capitalism is a big part of that too. A lot of these
Oh
cats be
yeah.
like, no, it's there's a lot of barriers to get over. So I be preaching to these cats all day and night, and you know, I need the right cat to hear it is gonna be able to get through more cats.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
a Cyrus to stay alive.
Yeah, I was just thinking of Cyrus. Yeah, that's the type of
Yeah,
person that needs to turn up. But in the United States, it seems every time there's a Cyrus, somehow he ends up dead.
yeah.
Like how come nobody ever talks about anymore about how they what is it now? Over 20 people from Ferguson are all fucking dead.
Oh, turned up in crazy ways. Cars on fire. A couple of them turned
Yep,
out and burning cars. One of
yep,
them got shot while driving, shot himself or something. Come on, that's crazy.
yep. So I
He was
mean, there's
driving in the
that
back of a
too.
cop. He was cuffed in the back of the cop car and shot himself in the head. How did that happen? Like, come on, man. Yeah, there was a lot of crazy deaths from that. But over there you got those racist hillbilly white nationalist cops. Like you have them everywhere, but over there they got more free reign.
Yeah, but it's just funny how they just all end up dead.
Yeah,
Yeah, and how far back you want to go? I mean,
modern
fuck.
day lynchings, basically.
Go back to the Panthers. Go back to all kinds of shit. This is something that's always been in the United States, and it's never been fixed. And apparently, there's no desire to fix it.
Yeah, if you pose a threat, your life is in danger.
A threat to power. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they that lady that saved her kids at the
Yeah.
UFL who went in and got the kids. She had to move her kids out the house in fear for their lives. The pigs have been torturing her because she went public, telling the truth.
Well, apparently, she's on probation.
So what?
Well, the cops are gonna fucking lie and get her thrown back in
Oh,
prison.
I thought you meant that was a problem. Like she should she shouldn't
No,
have tried to save her kids because she's on probation. I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
no, cops are gonna use it against her.
yeah. Of course.
And again, I'll say this again this week. How is that police station not burned to the ground?
I don't know. I honestly
Unbelievable.
don't know.
Unbelievable.
They're gonna tear the school down. That's what somebody said. Why not the police station and leave the school up?
Unbelievable.
Remodel the school and burn down the police station. These cops
Well,
over there are insane, dude. They showing up in people's houses. They in meetings kicking out all reporters and some parents. They're just it's full on fascism. There's no way they should be able to do that.
I just
They
can't
say they
believe
feel
it's.
threatened. They feel threatened by journalists coming into a public meeting in a public building.
I just don't understand how in the state of Texas, this is not blown up yet. I don't get it. I just do not get it. How this is being contained there, of all places.
Yeah, I don't know that part of Texas, but most of Texas, you would think the parents would have showed up with guns and went down with the police that they had to get their kids, right? Isn't Texas full of good guys with guns, quote unquote? Like, what happened there?
Well, of course, there's a very, very strong built in deference to authority. I don't care what these people say.
Oh, so the
Any of
police
the,
be like, nope, you're not going in and be like, yes, officer.
there would be some, I guarantee it. But
Oh, wow.
considering everything that's happened and everything that is proven happened, I can't believe there hasn't been some serious repercussions there yet. I just can't believe it. Not in that part of the
I
world.
can't I can't believe the whole police force hasn't been fired. Just doesn't make sense.
Well, I'm
Um,
surprised. I think that would be getting off lightly. I mean, I'm outside the US. I want to see American response. Like this is like
yeah.
this is
I want to see
like
Team America World Police go up in there.
fucking rights, But I
Uh,
mean, I just can't believe it. There's 21 people dead, and there's video of them standing around not giving a fuck. Like this isn't tolerable.
yeah.
It's just simply not tolerable. Sorry.
They weren't really all standing around. A lot of them were out there tasing parents and beating on parents and restraining and cuffing parents. I mean, that's the first thing you should do if kids are getting shot in a school is find their parents and restrain them and lock them up and tase them and cuff them and abuse them.
And
Because
see
that's what's
what the
important at that time.
see that tells you something else about the level of bravery of these cops. They're willing to go out there and abuse parents, and none of those parents will ever forget that. And they're in the same little town, and they chose to do that instead of go stand in a hallway and they might get shot. What a bunch of fucking pussies, all of them.
The Democrats have been funny with that one too.
You know, and
I've seen more Democrats backing the police than Republicans in Uvalde because the Democrats are like they're using it to their. This is the funniest thing. Like, see, even a full SWAT team doesn't want to go in against an AR-15. They didn't mention that every member of that SWAT team also had an AR-15, at least in the pictures.
that's
Even the
disgusting
cops,
politics.
even the cops out messing with the parents had them strapped to them. So come on now.
That's disgusting politics.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I've seen that a lot. Like, yeah, they wouldn't even go in because it was an AR-15. I'm like, but I've seen 10 or 15 of them with and I guarantee they have extendos and maybe some are fully auto. I don't know. But their gear's definitely got to be better because they spend millions on it, right? And they still didn't go in there because they cowards.
Yes, exactly. They're cowards. And the perfect simple response is she got a building burning. The firemen set up all their shit and then they just stand there. They don't do anything. And people burn to death inside. Well, we didn't
No,
want to risk we didn't want to risk injury.
right, they do something that hose down the people trying to go get their dogs and belongings and loved ones out.
Yeah. How do you think
that would
that
be
would play
that,
out?
that would be the equivalent.
Yeah, I'm sure that would happen and there'd be no repercussion.
Yeah, well, fire department, firefighters can't get away with the same stuff police can.
No, because they're actually brave and they actually put their money where their fucking mouth is.
Yeah, but I see a lot of them are really fascist, cop loving, flag waving bootlickers.
Fine,
Like a super high number of them. It's really crazy.
I know, but the point here is if they have to die in the line of duty, they do it.
Yeah, for the most part, I would say, yeah. I mean, that's not their goal, and they don't try to, but they go in there.
Yeah, They know what their fucking job is.
Yeah. When it comes to the job, yeah, yeah, they'll go into danger before a cop will. A cop will shoot somebody with a knife.
But then, of
Right.
course, unless you're talking about places like New Orleans where the fire department can't go in because people are shooting at them. So that's a different thing.
Yeah, do you think that really happens as much as they say it does?
I have no idea, but
Because
just
they
the
used to
concept that just that you can even say it and people believe it. There's something wrong with your fucking country.
yeah, they just say that about LA all the time. That's why we got to send police with fire trucks because gangsters will shoot at them trying to save their enemies. Okay, now maybe in
Yeah.
the past that's happened a couple times, but it's just not the norm. You know what I mean? Most
No.
cats who shoot at somebody want to leave the area before the police come. They're not be like, okay, once this ambulance come, we're gonna light them up too, so they can't save these people. You know, come on,
And
let's
then
just
we'll
think
just
about it.
wait for the helicopters and the SWAT teams. Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll ditch that stuff and leave and pretend like we're just standing here watching the commotion, right? Come on, man. Like I'm
Yeah,
sure
don't
maybe
let.
it's happened, maybe everything's happened, everything's possible, but it's not the norm.
But that's just it. It happens once, and they sell it like the norm, and the media helps them. So now we have cops at everything.
Is that what they said in Louisiana though? I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah, that was an issue. That
Uh,
was a definite issue. I think it
yeah,
has
they said
been a few places.
they said it was an issue here, but it wasn't an issue, man. Like you said, it probably happened once or twice, and then they're like, "Oh my god."
Yep, it's constant now. It never stops.
Yeah.
But again, funding.
Could you imagine just waiting? Like, okay, I want to see if this guy's really dead. I don't have any more bullets to make sure, so we're just gonna wait till the ambulance come. And by then, the homie will be back with his gun. And if the ambulance try to save him, we're gonna shoot at him too. Like, what? How does that work? Oh man.
Well, that's a martyr play, definitely.
I mean, do
And I
people
don't.
even do that in war zones? Like, isn't that even something they're not supposed to do? Is shoot at medical people?
Supposedly, but again,
Yeah,
if
I
there's
know.
no,
I'm just saying, technically, like that's the rule, isn't it? Like the general
yep,
consensus, like you don't shoot at a medical crew.
yeah, and they don't have weapons.
Yeah,
Medics do not carry firearms, and they wear the armband, and they're supposed to be able to operate.
yeah.
But again, it's the same thing. It's on the books, but is there a referee?
LAPD attacks medics. I can tell you that for sure.
LAPD attacks everybody.
Yeah, dude, I
Oh, they
just
don't.
don't know how they feel. That today they said there's a small group out there, but we're making sure you're safe or whatever they said. Man, think about this. How do they justify sending massive amounts of armed riot cops out there with batons and less than lethals, and they're I always say that with quotes to a women's march for women's rights so they can beat, abuse, shoot, and and thump up with their clubs a bunch of women. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This is great news for their wives and girlfriends. They're like, oh man, maybe he got it out on the streets and I could not get beaten for a couple weeks, maybe a week or two. But for the rest of the women that are getting brutalized out there, it's not as good, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, these pigs are outrageous, man. What are they gonna do next year? They're gonna be like, we need to have a training on how not to beat peaceful women. So we're gonna need more funding for that. Oh man, we got to wrap this show up soon. So let's the last thing is related to this right now.
Yep.
More news on the Houston tipping. Houston tipping, for those that don't know, is an LAPD pig who was murdered by the LAPD during training exercises. Um, so now we hear more information. We didn't have a lot of information. We just know that something happened to his neck during a training exercise about crowd control. That's all we knew. So now Houston Tipping's mother is suing LAPD for the murder of her son. It actually turns out that he was brutally beaten to death by a large group of his coworkers during a training exercise on the proper way to brutalize protesters. So basically, he was acting like a protester, and the police were training how to subdue protesters or groups. They said groups and mobs or whatever. Protesters, let's be honest about what it is. And he was beaten to death by his coworkers. Not one person's been arrested for manslaughter. They're not even saying these pigs' names. I had to, like we said last week, I got that troll hashtag I always put with LAPD, justice for Houston Tipping, bring his murderers to justice. Um, because yeah, why should pigs be able to murder somebody with no consequences? Like if murdering a cop is the worst thing according to them someone could do, they got parades and they're all crying and all the cops gather and spend your tax dollars to go to a funeral procession and all that. And then why don't they do it for him? His funeral was really kind of they announced it on the news like Officer Houston Tipping's funeral. He was accidentally killed in a training incident or something, you know? Real quick. The cops that got popped in Almonte, they spent days, oh, officer such and such was a pillar of the community, loved by all, and we have counseling for anyone in the community that can't, you know, but none of that for Houston Tipping, because he was murdered by a bunch of other pigs who will never be brought to justice for the murder of a cop who's worth at least 100 people, right? One cop's life is worth at least 100 people's life.
But it didn't
Isn't that?
involve any regular people, so that doesn't apply. When his body went in the ground, so did this case.
Well, not the civil case.
No, not the civil case. But as far
Where
as any criminal case goes, no, it's not happening.
Here's the
Ever.
thing, man. Where's this Gascon at, dude? Everybody talking about recall Gascon because he lets criminals run free, and I'm starting to agree. Houston Tipping's murderers are run free. The William Dorsey Jones Jr. He's running free right now, and who knows? He might walk into another shopping store and shoot up another kid or two. We don't even know what's up with him. Yeah, they need to really start dealing with these murderous pigs. They just let off the two pigs that shot the unarmed dude in Hollywood. A knife. A knife isn't an arm. A knife is like, you know, armed with a knife is not the same as when you say armed, you think of gun.
Well, in your country, yeah.
So yeah, so he had a knife and he wasn't even holding a knife, he was holding a lighter. And they blew him away, and that was justified, quote unquote. All these murders are justified. Even if they
But
murder another pig, it's justified, evidently. I thought that one would work itself out.
but I mean, people all around the world, they just look at this and okay, so training police is like Lord of the Rings, apparently. And
Wait, what?
well, I mean, it's the same shit, you know? One of our own, he must be cast out. You know, what are we going to do? Stone him? We're going to flog him? You know, like, this is just fucking idiocy. There's
Oh
no
yeah.
reason. There's no reason in the world. Like, go to a top notch actual military unit that trains in hand to hand combat. If when they're sparring and they go that far that they hurt each other, they get fucking shit.
Oh yeah.
Big
Well, I
time.
mean,
Because they all respect each other's ability and they're all on the same side. Well, obviously, this doesn't exist in LAPD.
yeah, I mean, they need an outside investigation because the pigs investigated themselves and found out it was an accident. Like we said before, what did he know? What did he see? What was he about to say or do? Maybe that might have
That's
made
right.
them want to kill him.
That's right.
Um, and then that becomes manslaughter.
And that
I mean,
becomes
that becomes
RICO.
like, yeah, oh yeah, that's true too. They'll never pull. If the LA Sheriff Department gangs aren't a RICO situation already, I don't think this will be.
No kidding. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong there. Oh no.
Man,
Social
it's social
clubs.
clubs.
Social club.
To the untrained eye, that was spontaneous, but we had planned it out in our rehearsal a couple of days ago.
Yeah, sure.
Oh man. So
No,
yeah, I don't know.
it's just unbelievable. I mean, every once in a while, something happens like that up here, where a cop will be killed in training, and it doesn't go away because there's always some mother crying on TV, and that shit just does not go away up here
See that
until
just
until
started.
there's answers.
That just started with his mother suing. Now that's starting to be a little bit on the news right there. But I don't think that's enough. They need a federal investigation into this.
Well, I bet you there's going to be a settlement before it ever goes before a court.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I did the measuring the other night. I had a big long tape measure, and there's no LAPD station that's or training center that's a hundred miles away from a border or an airport. So technically, the feds could just walk in there right now, no warrant, no nothing, grab all the evidence, and see if we need to charge these murderers of Houston tipping. Just a thought.
And who's going to do it?
The feds, they're just legal. Send them in. They
And the
just passed
next
the
time
law.
And the next time that DHS wants LAPD to do some dirty work for them, and LAPD says, nah, we're busy today.
Then you go plant some stuff on their leaders and take them out and install yours. Do them like they do everybody else. Police them like they police LA. Beat them up.
Yeah, but the alphabet agencies have a lot more sugar to give out than vinegar. And, you know,
I don't know. We're joking about that. Well, I mean, yeah, we know it never happened, but yeah, they never hold these police accountable,
no,
even to the standard of the average citizen.
no.
And technically, they're supposed to be held to a higher standard than the average citizen,
Mm-hmm.
but they never are.
No, no,
There's
because
one. There's I don't know this guy's name. He's a LA City Council member, and that dude, I think his name's Ricky from the People's City Council of LA. He was yelling at him in this video. And dude came up and he looked like a stereotypical movie mob boss. He had these big glasses, these dark glasses on. He's like, "Oh yeah," he's making these weird faces like Robert De Niro. Oh my god, I laughed so hard. I was like, this guy thinks he's like some mafia member. Look at him. Just everything he was doing, fixing his little shirt. And, oh my God, it was so
the
funny.
made guy.
I think he thought it looked super tough to do what he was doing because he knew he was being filmed, but it really just looked like what is he doing? Why is he doing that?
He's a made guy.
I doubt it.
No, but that's what he's selling. That's his role.
He's a politician.
That's his role. He's a made guy.
Oh man, that's funny.
But again,
Well,
this is the whole deal. This is the exact difference between the United States and Switzerland. In Switzerland, nobody gives a fuck what the guy looks like. These are the issues that we want dealt with. It's just a completely
yeah.
different perspective. And everybody says, oh my God, Switzerland never has a war, that nobody invades them. Gee, what the fuck? Well, there you go. That's why. They're just different.
Yeah.
Like that's a super hard place to get into. If you're from somewhere else and you want to live there, never mind, you can't be broke. It takes a couple years.
Oh, see, there's the problem too, though. Like you can't say there can't be broke people and we can't let people come live here. I don't know. You know me, I hate borders. I don't understand that people should be able to go wherever the hell they want to go
No,
without no problem. Like
no, that ain't
if you're gonna
Switzerland.
if you're gonna have a checkpoint at the border, it should be to exchange money or whatever you do, so you could be happier coming in and give you maps and stuff like, oh, here's a map for all the fun stuff you can do on our country.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know,
you
something
can
like
do
that.
that. You can do that, but in 2 weeks, you're going back wherever the fuck you came from.
No, I'm saying no. It should just be like, come on, this is where you get housing. This is where you get this. This is where you get that. Welcome
No,
to the country. If they gotta have a checkpoint, that's what they should do there.
no, that's Scandinavia.
And whatever, it should be everywhere, the whole world. Like that's ridiculous. All this border
That
crap.
it doesn't work for capital. Sorry, we will not be entertaining that suggestion.
He's like, we want the rich to get richer, and this ain't helping.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we got anything else? Because right now we're just kind of rambling.
Well, we covered everything,
Yeah, we're awesome.
including the bonus subject of how Twitter Spaces is a piece of shit.
Which we'll probably be talking about a little bit every week. We should make a segment out of it with a little musical intro.
Well, somehow the way it starts just leads us right into it.
Yeah. I don't know.
But
That's the problem. But anyway,
whatever, man. Whatever.
cool. I'm going to go on and end it, man. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you to all the people who listened and will listen in the future. Um, like I said before, it's hot out there. If you have the means to get some water and get it cold and hand it out to people who are forced to live on the street in your neighborhood, please do so. Do whatever you could do to help because this heat is dangerous. Um, Thanks again, and we're out.